Entering our second season of Blood Time, we want to thank not only our phenomenal and remarkable individuals that were our guests, but also the support, the incredible support that we have had throughout the community, not only locally, but nationally. What you can absolutely put to bed as guaranteed the second season of Blood Time are more remarkable individuals, more transformative stories, and more Blood Time moments. Please give a listen to the second season, for we are all blood. Coach Cimarroni here. Love to all. This is Coach Cimarroni for Next Level Continuing Education. Next Level brings unique education to real estate professionals and real estate investors on how to get money effectively and efficiently into real estate investments. Next Level Continuing Education has ditched the traditional continuing education platform. Gone are the days of listening to boring content in a stuffy classroom setting. Come jump on a Zoom call whenever you find it comfortable and learn how to expand your real estate portfolio. Next Level CE brings unique content across Ohio and the Midwest to teach real estate investors how to become their own bank using the infinite banking concept to acquire more properties quickly. Call Ryan M. Miller, the CE specialist, at 330-933-8231 or click on the link in our show notes. That's Ryan M. Miller, CE specialist, 330-933-8231 or our show notes. The link is where you go. Thank you. Hey, this is Coach Cimarroni, and I've got my radio voice on because I've got an entertainer sitting next to me. How are you guys today? I have got Double D, David Dennis Mackey. What's up, brah?
Hey, what's going on? This is great.
Dude, we are off the rails here with an entertainer.
Yeah, we've already been talking. You people missed some stories already.
Indeed. We've got a long history. Even though David was a little bit younger than me, we both matriculated at Beechwood High School.
Yes, we did. The mean streets of Beechwood. Back
Holy
in the
cow!
Day.
Yeah, we fought with insults, not with fists. But you had a similar kind of a Howard Sternish upbringing with getting your butt kicked over in Ashtabula, right?
Yes,
as a man of the tribe,
my first 8
of the
years.
Hebrew faith.
Yeah, the only Jewish family around.
Exactly. In the hinterlands of deep into Lake County, right?
I know what getting
or
beat up
Ashtabula
means.
County, yeah, exactly right. So then you move to Beechwood and you sort of find your groove there, and Beechwood is a huge entertainment, arts, educational community, particularly back then. So that you were exposed to artists, but also too you were encouraged to maybe do some things that were more creative.
Coming out of Ashtabula, getting beat up all the time, and then moving to a Jewish community where we just fit in. It was so quiet.
Yeah.
Doors weren't locked, and it was mostly Jewish people. And
right.
I came from playing hardball, as we talked earlier, for the Atlanta Braves in the Powder Puff League, and
there you go.
They didn't even play hardball here in Beechwood because they were afraid to get hurt. So it was weird.
Well, it's interesting because I was raised obviously in Beechwood. I was the only Italian pretty much in the whole school, except for maybe one or two other guys, and
a standout.
And my dad created the first football team in 7th grade. So he was my coach. He was our coach. So we had this non-sanctioned football team. He actually made the Sports Illustrated, but then got sued. He was going to get sued by some of the parents because they didn't, want to. So it was done. But
wow.
Yeah. So it was weird, man.
Sports
it was weird.
Wasn't the greatest in Beechwood back then. It was,
especially football.
Jewish guys, they were a little bit short, and
right.
They weren't that athletic at the time. And
well, I was on the very first team that won a league game in 1974. We had such a celebration that we took our helmets and hit the top of the school bus. They had to decommission the school bus. It was so destroyed. But we beat Richmond Heights.
I remember you on the team. I was marching in the band.
There you go. Yeah.
I got into the band early and often from middle school. I was allowed to go with the high school twice a year from middle school. My mom gave me the permission, and the band director Mr. Shahan loved me. I was like teacher's pet. So
There you go.
I went on the jazz band tour to Louisville, and the band, the regular band.
What'd you play?
I was a drummer at the time.
Fantastic.
But I was playing drums since I was 8. My grandfather brought me some Rogers red sparkle drum set. I was 8, didn't go to school that day. It was a Monday. And I learned and I played till my fingers bled,
Sure.
like that song.
Oh, yeah, right.
And by 14, I was pretty much winning all the awards in Ohio for playing snare drum.
That's
but
fantastic.
Mr. Shahan, my last year of middle school,
right,
in the pods.
Yeah, the pods, middle school, yeah.
He said, listen, I want you to
Concept one and shit, right?
Yeah, I want you to learn a melody instrument. So he said, get a trumpet. Here's the fingering. He gave me a chart. I practiced all summer, came back. I was first chair as a freshman, but the older guys were mad, so I moved to second chair. I started playing trumpet in the band, in the marching band, especially for the the games. We'd go out to Berkshire, Newberry.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
On the bus.
Absolutely. So, the reason I have you in here, and I'm excited to do this and going off our typical interview with an athlete, but you've had many blood time moments, and you've done some incredible things in front of some incredible people, such as George Bush, such as Jessica Simpson, but David, tell me what inspired, Shahan, you talk about, what inspired you to be this incredible entertainer in your adult life?
Well, I think it was just kind of knowing what I wanted to be.
Okay.
From going to Ohio State and, after a couple years.
Yeah, we talked about my dearly departed brother-in-law, Jimmy Guerreri, who I absolutely adore and miss so almost beyond words.
Jimmy Guerreri was a natural athlete, a leader, a beautiful man.
And he gave birth to a D1 coach, Matt, his son, at Duke, and a daughter, Liz, who was the captain of the dance team at Wake Forest and has choreographed and gone on tours with Demi Lovato and Halsey and Kelly Clark. Crazy, right? What a talented guy.
And your sister that he married, that was a king and queen.
Yeah, Carla, baby.
Yeah, she was homecoming queen in my school. She was beautiful. And he was my corner man when I won the welterweight champ that night.
What event?
It was
Tough Man?
It was a welterweight. It was a TKO. It was AAU sponsored.
Okay.
It was one of the offsets of being a boxing welterweight. That was an
at
offset.
Ohio State.
Yeah, I opened up my mouth. I said, I can do that too. I'll go over there.
Right.
And so he was my corner man. Just tremendous. We won the Nose Bowl, which was my fraternity against the other Jewish fraternity, which we never won.
Sure.
But having Jimmy as our quarterback.
So you were a ZBT.
I was a ZBT.
Right. He was like the only Dago in the whole ZBT.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I was pledge president, but he was in my class. We were freshmen, and I was the leader. He was drawing plays in the dirt while we were playing Sammy, and we won.
Love it.
We first time ever to win the Nose Bowl. It was like winning the World Series.
I love that.
NFL championship. It was unreal. That's how much.
Put those Sammys down, baby.
But after a couple years of all that, and winning Greek Week for the fraternity, we were just super, super hot.
Sure.
And I left, called my mom up,
and
said, hey, I'm coming home. My mom was always visionary, always the one to give me that rope.
Give us her name.
Until I get in trouble, and then she pulls me back in. Shirley Kessler Mackey.
We love Shirley.
One of the greatest generations. She was part of it, working for World War II and stuff when she was in high school. But with that being said, I called her up, and she says, I'll come and get you. I go, Mom, I got my car here.
Right.
I'll wait up for you. Mom, I'm going to be home at 4 a.m.
Right.
Well, certainly I got home at 4 a.m. That door opened.
Yeah.
This is true. I walked in. I gave her a hug and a kiss.
Yeah.
I said, Mom, I want to be a rock star.
Wow.
And she goes, I'll give you rock star. You're going to go down to the Cleveland Institute of Bartending to have something to fall back on. I go, Mom, I never fell in the ring. She goes, oh, yeah, showed me that left hook. And boy, I was down at the Cleveland Institute of Bartending the next day.
Yes.
So that was something visionary she knew.
Sure.
And I fell back on bartending throughout the course of my entertainment career.
Right.
I was lead singer of Zaza. I wrote the regional hit song Maybe Tomorrow in 1988.
Tell me about Zaza. How did that happen? That's like the mid-'80s, right?
I learned my craft as a frontman in a band called Quick.
Okay.
In the early 80s.
Okay.
And finally started touring to Florida and playing and just learning. I was with older guys that if I made a mistake, they gave me that we called it the Hamilton look. That the dirty look.
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot, and then I started writing my own music, and they seemed to just kind of want to just
kind of like Dennis Lewin, right?
Dennis played on my hit song.
Sure,
I went after him.
What a
because I could play piano, but not like that. But I knew he would be the guy.
Not many can play like Dennis. Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I quit that band, and they came after me in Zaza, the drummer. Sticky Fingers, and Scotty Cormus.
Love it.
And he came over and we talked, and we jammed the first night down in the basement at his house in Garfield.
Okay.
And I knew it. Wow. I knew this was special. These guys were jumping up and down in rehearsal.
Sure.
So we quickly wrote a bunch of material. I wrote most of it, and then wrote Maybe Tomorrow. I knew it. I broke up with my girlfriend, the whole 9 yards. I came home. I
Inspiration,
got on the piano.
baby.
In 20
Inspiration.
minutes, it was done.
I
never changed. And I brought it over to the guys, and they knew it. We all knew that song was it.
Right.
So fast forward, Kid Leo played it, and it became a huge hit all
Fantastic.
over. And I bought the bus with the guys, and we started touring. And it was 5 years of bliss, but we were a little bit too late in the music scene, and Nirvana came along while we were in L.A.
Yeah, grunge. Grunge.
They wouldn't even talk to us anymore, the record labels. It was over for the 80s hair gods.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But I understood it and came home and tried to recreate
But everybody, it's interesting because I have a little bit of a story the same way. My godmother, Justine Freight, I don't know if you know Justine or not, but her brother is Dale Peters, who was the bassist for the James Gang. Mm-hmm. So when I was a kid, as my godfather's Tony Freight, we lost him 40 or 30 years ago.
I hung with them.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm talking about. So I was, as a young guy, I watched once in a while that thing happening. It's fantastic to watch that, to be experiencing that, to see that creation. It's stunning. So you have that, but recreating yourself is part of what everybody does, whether you want to or not. So what did you do when you knew that was something that was not going to be sustainable?
It just became like in '94 when my father passed away.
Okay.
Who was a Korean War hero, Purple Heart, 2 Bronze Star.
What's his name?
Harlan W. Mackey. Harlan Wadmore Mackey. He was Finnish.
Okay.
So I got some Scandinavian in me, but he converted at 41, including a bris.
Dear, no way.
Those of you who don't know what that is, you'll figure it out.
Oh my God! Please Google it. You'll have a lot more respect for Harlan.
Painful.
Absolutely.
So
holy shit.
He passed on the ship in Spain coming home from the Second Gulf War because the government drafted him to be there for the first shock and awe in '91. He was there for a year, and then the second. So he passed away on the phone with my mom.
That's awful.
And shortly thereafter, my mom was diagnosed with dementia. There was a lot of things that led up to that, but she didn't recognize my brother and recognized me a little bit. And I think I just became the chosen one, and I started taking care of her. That was my new job.
Okay.
Because I didn't want anyone to take care of her other than me. I cleaned her, I bathed her, I nebulized her, which is a butyl sulfate to open up your lungs. She was on 2.5 liters of oxygen 24/7.
Wow.
So I came home and got a job as a lead bartender for P.F. Chang's.
Sure.
And
I've had a few cocktails there with you.
I was going to Florida taking her because her lungs couldn't handle the winter here.
Right.
We had a little crib in Pompano, and then I'd come back here in the summer. Mm-hmm. And then getting a job at P.F. Chang's was a godsend in a lot of ways because I gave it 1 year in 2000. My mom got a little ill because of the winter. Yeah. So I gave my notice the following year in 2001.
Okay.
And they were disappointed, but I had to leave because of my mom.
Right.
And that's what I was doing. I dedicated myself at that point to her.
Sure.
Because look what she did for me in all my years.
It's the most honorable thing a son can do, right?
You wait. We'll be getting to this.
Sure.
And so I kept doing that, and Chang's called me when I arrived in Florida that December, and they said, "Hey, we just opened up Boca. We're having trouble at the bar. Can you help us out?"
Sure.
And I was like, "Okay, give me a few days." So I went back and forth with Chang's.
Okay.
I work in the winter there, but in 2004, my mom couldn't travel anymore, so it was strictly back to Beechwood to our old home there,
right,
at the mall property, and I did it. I was working and taking care of her, and I had a good foundation, good friends that helped me out. I had a housekeeper that was really good, Solomon Wary. And in 2006, after giving her a bath. You know, you clean her and you bathe her and you nebulize her and you powder her Depends, her little track suit.
Yeah.
And I made a little theater room for her. And I'd walk her and put her on the couch, and she loved watching CNN.
Yes.
So this particular early evening, around 7-ish, she stops me in the hallway as I'm walking her, and she says, "David."
Yes.
I go, "What, Mom?" And we talk like dudes. I mean, we were dudes.
Right.
We swore. We did all those things.
You let it fly, baby.
We were cool.
I love it.
And people understood it.
Sure.
And she stopped me in the hallway, and she grabbed my wrist in a lucid moment. She says, "David."
Yeah.
I go, "What, Mom?" She goes, "When I get to God, I'm going to tell him how good you took care of me."
Holy shit.
And it crushed me for a split second. I said, "Mom, shut up. Save me a seat at the bar." And I pointed up to heaven. And she looked at me.
I love that.
And she said, "I will." And I'll never forget that.
Wow.
And I walked her to the couch, put her there, and I went up to my room and I cried like a little girl for 20 minutes. I mean, I knew she knew. This is the first time she ever said anything about, you know, her life, and maybe it might be coming to an end.
That's a blood time moment for everybody.
It was blood time. Peter, I'm telling you, it was, I didn't even realize the extent of what that meant. And I came back down and finished the night, and she went to bed, and within a couple months she passed away gracefully at Hillcrest with Nurse Julie. But
Nurse Julie.
I got to tell you,
look at all these beautiful people.
I look back at my life and what I did for her. It didn't matter who I dated, what I did for a living, where I lived, as long as she could be with me.
Right.
That was it for her. She was happy.
Yeah.
So I made her happy. And
how about you though?
My brother came back.
Made you happy
and
too.
He helped me out for the last couple of years. He moved back in with me.
Right.
And we were tag teaming. I mean,
okay.
I took care in the daytime, and he worked days, and then I worked obviously nights, bartending, and he took over at night. And so it was great to have him also at the end.
That's fantastic.
But she was happy.
Yeah.
And that's all I could do.
But
and so afterwards, I say to myself, man, after that, of over a decade and a half of taking care of someone like that,
right,
taking her to the doctors, running her errands, making sure she has her medication, her meals. I mean, I was a geriatric nurse.
Yeah.
But in the end, I was graced to be able to do that. What better thing could I do?
Yes.
You know, I wrote a hit song. That's kind of cool.
Right.
What can I defend the nation? And you know, I don't know. But it was an honor, and I think that was my blood time.
Yeah.
And shortly thereafter, I was working at Chang's, and all of a sudden, the Spasmatics, Perfect World Entertainment,
we love the Spasmatics,
came to me.
Yeah.
And they asked me to be their singer to start the second Spasmatics in a company that was franchising it.
Okay.
They already had one in L.A.
Okay.
Now the second one was going to be Cleveland.
Okay.
I had a chance to play with Dave Baker and some other great cats.
All right.
And I
so how many Spasmatic groups are there?
Oh, now there's about 14.
14, wow.
3 alone in Texas.
Wow.
And I've been fortunate enough to be able to sing for all of them.
Right, right.
The company believed in me at the time, and they sent me
for emergency
seen you,
reasons. And you're a lot of fun.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're a lot of fun.
16 years.
Yeah.
I did Spasmatics. So, again, I didn't take it seriously when I first got into the band.
Sure.
I didn't know where it was going to go. I was 8 years removed from singing and entertaining.
Okay.
Completely left it. I couldn't even go to a concert.
Right.
I just felt weird. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that first night, though,
here's
another blood time moment. Okay. I got on stage. A lot of my fans were there, friends, a lot of the band's
Well, before you
friends.
tell that story, let's set the stage. The Spasmatics, I mean, you sing with a neck brace. I mean, the Spaz are Chaz the Spaz, right?
The Spasmatics are
the nerds, right?
Yeah. We're nerdy Vegas-style show band of the 80s.
Of the 80s,
anything 80s. In Excess, Missing Persons, Wham, Aha, Journey, Bon Jovi.
Right.
You know, Michael Jackson, anything 80s.
Yeah.
We do
Punk.
It. And we do some dance moves, and we have some fun.
Sure.
We entertain you. That's the difference. When you go to see a show of Spasmatics, we're entertaining you.
Oh, there's no question. So, I've been very entertained. So I want to hear that story, okay? But we're going to take a break because we got sponsors that actually support us tremendously. We love our sponsors, Defense Soap and Serve Pro and Next Gen, Next Level CE, and a lot of other people that are they're coming on board. So we're going to take that break, and then on the flip side, we're going to hear that story.
Okay.
Thanks, David.
Very good.
I want to thank Serve Pro of Beechwood, our newest sponsor, and Jack Coslin, the owner. They serve all of Northeast Ohio, not just Beechwood. They specialize in disaster cleanup that leaves your home or office like new, like it never happened. Flood and water damage, fire, mold, and they say even blood and guts. Not just any ServPro. Seek out ServPro of Beechwood. That's ServPro Beechwood, Shaker Heights, ClevelandHeights.com, 216-464-4498. Operated by a former All-State wrestler from Beechwood, we love ServPro of Beechwood.
Defense Soap at defensesoap.com. In the midst of our current health crisis, we at Blood Time want to thank Guy and Gus Seiko and the team at Defense Soap as a beacon of our protection. Body wipes, skin cleansers, bars of soap, shower gels, and disinfectant tablets. All this and more as Defense Soap is on the front line of our protection. Thanks to the Seiko family and their team at Defense Soap. Check them out for all your protection needs during these precarious times. Defense Soap at defensesoap.com.
Hi, this is Maverick Peters for the Blood Time Podcast. Just want to thank Mr. Jim Griffiths over at Bearden's. Bearden's has been serving steak burgers since 1948. They are home of the original peanut butter burger. Everything is 100% fresh, never frozen beef. They serve hand-cut onion rings, and they are a local top 10 shakes winner. Thank you again to Jim Griffiths over at Bearden's. Check them out for more at Bearden's, BEARDENS.com. Thank you.
And we're back with David Dennis Mackey, my friend, Double D. Double D, you're talking about the story about the Spasmatics. We had already set the stage, so please continue.
Well, it all ended up that first night of we played at Panini's on Mayfield, and it was packed.
Sure.
And I couldn't believe what was happening. Here I am back after all these years, 8 years of not singing.
This is the mid-2006, 7,
was
8.
November of 04.
04. Okay, 04. Great. All right, great.
So I took the stage and started singing, and the band was pumping, and I could see all those people, my friends, my fans, acquaintances, smiling and enjoying themselves, laughing.
Yeah.
And when I sang a sad song, they were crying, and they were just thrilled that I was back up, and I was thrilled. And I had a moment. I had a Blood Time moment where it was almost like a religious experience where I knew, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to entertain you.
You almost come out of your own body, right? And looking at yourself, right?
I knew it.
Right?
I knew it, and when the show was over, I was exhausted. I think my voice held out pretty well.
Right.
But I knew this was it. This was something.
Well, you nail those songs, man.
Well,
you nail them.
I'm an 80s boy, so that was kind of
And I had the honor of having you at my club. We owned the Swamp Club at the very end 2005. 2000, and I remember you packing them in. Yep. We got so busy that night that I was pulling my bros out of the audience to get behind the bar. We were 3 deep at the
Swamp
bar.
Club was famous.
It was insane that night that you came there, and we also had I think Stanley's group, the Resonators or something. I don't know what. You know what I'm talking about.
His guitar player. What was his name? He played at Bahama Breeze.
Right.
Did an acoustic.
They had
Jonah Coslin.
Jonah Coslin. Oh my God, how talented he was! He wrote a hit song too. I mean,
Jonah was really.
We had Stanley, and then we had Boku come in. Oh, yeah. You know, and Boku sang at my 50th birthday party.
Yep, the Mottos, Dennis Lewin.
Absolutely, the boys. So you were in that milieu, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I was right there. So shortly thereafter, we really started pumping Cleveland.
Right.
And we were flying here and flying there. And then we played in Washington. We did the National Food Festival, and it was a really neat experience. And then we flew back home, and then about a couple weeks later, we got some paperwork, and I thought it was maybe a 1099 or taxes or something. We filled it out. Here, it was a background check. All of a sudden, we're flying back to Washington, and we don't know where we're playing.
Right.
They're just say, hey, you're doing a gig, and we'll meet up at the Willard, the 5-star hotel.
Fantastic.
So we fly, we get an SUV, we rent, and we go to the Willard. Mm-hmm. we walk in and we're in the lounge, and all of a sudden our owners, the first and only time I ever saw them,
wow,
they walked in and said, "Boys, sit down." And we sat down, and they said, "You're playing for the president this evening.
Holy.
You're doing his daughter's Christmas party at the White House in the
Jenna
East Wing."
or the other one?
Jenna and Barb, yeah,
Jenna and
both
Barb.
of them.
Holy cow.
And I'm sitting there going, "Are you kidding me?"
Wow.
He goes, "Secret Service is picking you up in 20 minutes. I'm like, "Oh my God, I hope I don't have anything on me." I'm checking things in at the front desk. Here, take my wallet,
Where's
take my
your
socks,
sleeve, baby?
take my underwear. I don't know if I'm, maybe I got residue
dust.
of something, and I don't want to ruin it for everybody.
My
And
man.
Guys, Men in Black showed up and took us over, and we got into the White House, and we were like little kids for 2.5 hours running around the red, blue, and green room.
Fantastic.
It was awesome. And then we got sequestered at 6:30 by a girl named Julie was in charge of us, I remember.
Right.
And I think I fell asleep a little bit. They have beds and pictures, and food kept coming down in every half-hour interval. And finally at 9:30, we were dressed, chomping at the bit.
Sure.
He comes down and he goes, "President would like to meet you right now."
Wow.
We're like, "Let's do it." So we walk up together, and we go into the East Wing. We got on this little teeny stage, and I turn around. Here comes President George W. Bush right at me.
Oh, my God.
And he walks up and he says, "How you doing, young man?" And I'm thinking, should I be cool? Like, "Hey, Georgie Porgy, hey, Bushy babe." And I thought, oh, my mom would kick my butt.
What's going on, Bernie Bush?
So I turned around and I said, "How you doing, Mr. President? I'm David. Let me introduce you to the rest of the guys." And that's how it went. Now, the really funny story was, it was just the president, the first lady, and the twins.
Right.
Secret Service, Sean was holding everyone back in the blue room. And we were talking, about 10 minutes went by. It's about 9:55. And the president comes up to me and says, "David, listen, I go to bed at 10:10. Can you play me one song before I go to bed?"
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, "Yes, sir, Mr. President." What am I going to say? No? No, dude, we're not ready.
Yeah.
So I go up to Bakes and I said, "Hey, he wants to hear a song." And Bakes goes, "Let's do Wham! Wake Me Up." How ironic is that?
Before you go,
And
baby.
Sure as
That's
heck, we
brilliant.
played "Wake Me Up" for the president, the first lady, and the twins, and we were jamming. I had the glasses on the president.
Oh, my God.
I'm
With the tape, right?
I'm grinding on the twins. I'm doing everything that Spasmatics does, right?
Yeah.
Well, the house photographer's taking all these pictures, and I'm thinking, People magazine, baby.
Yeah.
And when it was all said and done, he loved it, thanked us. They let everyone in, about 123 guests.
Wow.
And we played all night long, I think till 3:30 in the morning. I'm serious. It was that crazy. And
I love it.
It was an honor. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Leaving the White House and saying goodbye to everyone and getting home. We got one picture.
Okay.
It's like a cardboard cutout of the band of the president on the East Wing where they do all the announcements. All those pictures that he was taking.
Right.
Oh, we didn't get
Forget
those.
about
Yeah,
that.
forget about
Yeah.
it.
Those
But
are, yeah.
it really
private.
catapulted us to become really successful in Cleveland because of that. That was an honor. I'm the first singer to ever play for a sitting president from Cleveland, first band to ever play for a sitting president from Cleveland. And from there, we did Jessica Simpson's birthday. We did Andy Roddick's wedding with Brooklyn Decker at Stubbs in Austin.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And, we have Elton John opening up for us because Elton said that he told Andy that he would always play some songs if he got married to Brooklyn. So we came in from Europe, did 4 songs, and I'm like, "Oh, Elton's opening up for us." So we get on stage, 250 of his guests.
That's fantastic.
And he comes back after the first set, and Andy said to me, he goes, quote, "I am so honored to have you play my wedding reception." And I'm sitting there biting my lip going, "I'm honored to be playing for you. Are you kidding? We're blessed."
Yeah.
I didn't say that, but I was thinking that to myself.
Sure.
And it was just amazing. And we became friends when he came in and did his cancer benefit.
Yes.
He sent me 2 tickets and extra tickets for everyone. And I went there and we took a picture together, and I got to meet Elton sober, and that was kind of cool.
Wow.
And John McEnroe and Billie Jean King.
Reggie Dwight.
The mayor was there. Everyone was there. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So that's what Spasmatics gave to me in 16 years. And it's time to move in a different direction.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
With
Well,
the COVID and everything.
I have one aside before we get into that
Sure.
next area of your life. Actually, 2 asides. One, my father played piano in the John Carroll Band for Eisenhower. So we have that some
similarities,
there,
some parallel.
Some parallel there. And Bush, Stallone, the Llama, Kevin Hart, and 50 Cent all share the same thing with me. July 6th, we were all born that same day. So Just a little aside
Wow.
from your host.
Little after the
your
fireworks.
friendly neighborhood host.
Yeah,
isn't that funny?
That's really cool.
Isn't that wild? So we got a heck of a foursome.
Yeah.
Well, actually, sixsome. So let's talk about. I don't know why I had to get off that tangent, but I just had to tell you that.
That's cool.
Let's get into. You've laid this incredible foundation of entertaining, pleasing people, right? From your mother to your fans to just the world at large, okay? Maybe now it's time to please not only the people, but yourself.
Yeah, listen.
And that's part of Blood Time, right? Is to also have that self-love so that you can bring that love to the general public, what I mean?
I'm definitely been blessed in my life to be able to do all the things that I've done, let's say on a minimal budget,
Sure,
but to travel some of the world and the country and make people happy. And the people that yell out my name or Spasmatics or Zaza or Double D,
right?
When I'm at a show or a concert or, when we, pre-COVID basically,
right.
It's an honor to be recognized like that, and I take it as an honor, and I'll sign an autograph, I'll talk, and thank people for enjoying what I've done, and they are so happy that I've been able to entertain. Hey, we went out and saw you, we had so much fun, thank you so much.
Right.
That's where it's at. That's special.
Right.
And I am privileged to be in that position. I take it seriously. I've had some personal issues recently in my life where it's a struggle to overcome some of these issues, which I'm doing. But
would you want to share with us?
Well, yeah, I got into my personal issues were demons from my past, and maybe genetically my parents were alcoholics, and my mom took some pills and stuff when she got divorced, and there's a lot of things that are genetically in my system that started to overcome me in the past 5 years. Okay. So I've had to work through that. Right. As far as alcohol abuse. Okay. And so it's a funny story. It's
well, you're never really on the other side of it.
No, you're never on the other side, but you work on it.
Yes.
You work on it.
Yes. So it's a daily process,
sure,
correct? I have two dear friends that have been sober for many years, okay? Mm-hmm. But they were near death, and both of them right around the same time. Like one was at 29, one was at 30. And nobody thought they were going to make 30, either one of these kids, okay? And they both had the same first name, which is interesting, right? But now one is in his 60s and the other one is in his 50s, and they've done extremely well in life, financially and also business-wise, but they struggle every day.
Oh, yeah, every day. It's a struggle, but, it's up to you. It's up to me to be good. Sure. And that's what I'm doing. And now it's time to move on to something else. Okay. But it's got to be in the entertainment field. Right. So I'm looking forward to doing something, maybe TV, and or radio. Okay. I'd like to do a podcast too.
Hey,
and
listen,
it's all based on.
We would love to produce it for you, my friend.
Well, we're looking.
Absolutely.
We're talking.
We have producer extraordinaire in the other room, Maverick Peters.
Yes, Maverick. Great job, Maverick.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Top Gun boy over there.
Absolutely, exactly.
So I've already been offered another band. I'm going to take my time and choose something during COVID here. It's kind of a relaxing time, unfortunately, but it's still, you can figure some things out because there's not much to do.
Well, it's interesting. I was talking to my nephew yesterday, and he's one of these up and rising. He's 12 years old, but he's a really incredible hockey player. But his my brother's put him on pause, and he's really depressed by it because he wants to be a leader. He's the captain of the team, and he's on the elite teams. And I said, sometimes it's great to take a pause, to reflect, to find out how to be a better leader. Mm-hmm. Or lead from afar.
Yeah, and be a better person.
Be a better person. Be a better hockey player. Be a better leader. All those kinds of things. And I explained to him, I took, an 8-year and a 9-year pause from coaching. And during that time, I gave to my family, but I also said, if I remember going to coach again, how am I going to be better? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so it's about that, okay? And so this, I think, is a time where everybody can take stock.
Yeah,
of who they are, where they've been and where do they want to be and why. What's our why?
Absolutely.
Coming out of this thing,
Absolutely.
right?
That's where I'm at, and enjoying this time.
Yeah.
I'm working at 17 River Grill down Twin Falls for
Awesome.
Rick Duty.
He's
my
a
legend.
God. A legend. He
And
was the man behind Brio Bravo.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Cedar Creek and
Sure.
Lindy's.
Sure.
Yeah, he's just so
And
soothing.
he's had what a story too.
Yes, I know.
Sad
Tragedies.
tragedy.
Lost his
losing
son
his
in a car accident. Yeah.
I was at the Hawken tournament the last 2 years, Hawken Invitational Wrestling Tournament, and in that beautiful field house and his beautiful tribute to his son, his jersey is displayed prominently, and our love to that family.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Our love to that family.
Rick Duty and his wife Wendy Berry.
Yes,
she is amazing. Also beautiful,
talented interior designer.
But when I started working for him and training, he came on in a Zoom conference.
Okay.
And what struck me is something that I hold dear to my heart.
Sure.
It's an honor to serve.
Indeed.
It's an honor to make people happy.
Well
and that's what I've been doing all my life. As an entertainer,
Sure.
as a bartender, I'm still entertaining.
Yeah.
I'm behind that bar. I'm telling stories.
Oh,
I'm
no
making
doubt.
them happy. They're not leaving this bar. They're not leaving unhappy, put it that way.
Exactly right.
Because I'm going to make them happy.
I hear you.
I'll buy their dinner, their drink, whatever it takes. But they're going to come back because they had a great time.
Well, it's
And
always
we had a lot of fun.
It's always great to see you behind the bar, but it's also great to see you on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to my parents coming over here, and they're struggling right now because they're cloistered. They can't get out. And my mother's an incredible social animal and trying to be out there. And she's
Your parents, your dad, I love him.
Oh, they're the best, and they send such love to you.
Mm-hmm.
They really enjoy, and they really know that your next chapter of life is going to be something very special, and they send their best on that.
You know, I was blessed at 13 when I was getting my bar mitzvah. The rabbi Shul was talking about me, and I sneezed, and the rabbi turned around and whispered in my ear, "God just blessed you."
Okay.
And I'm telling you, that was the beginning of being blessed. So I'm blessed and honored to be in my position. I love everybody.
Sure.
And just I'm looking forward to continuing to entertain people and making them happy. That's what I'm supposed to do in life. I know it now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting too because you shared your struggles, and I had a cathartic moment at 13. I'll share this I've never shared this with the audience, but I was living next door to two older guys that were like my brothers. I was the oldest of my family. And growing up, they made me tough. We used to play one-on-one football, and they were one was 4 and one was 5 years older than me. And I loved them as my brothers. They were my brothers. And sadly, they had some struggles, and they got heavily involved in heroin. And I'll never forget, it was a summer just before my baby brother, Craig, was born. It was probably June of 1970. And I saw the ambulance cart them both away. And they almost died from an overdose. And I made a pact, knowing that my brother was going to be born a month later, that I would never do a drug. And to this day, I've never even held a joint in my hand. Now, I'm not saying that that's something that people should do, whatever, but there is that cathartic moment that hits you and say, this is who you're going to be.
Yep.
And I think that's where you got from your rabbi.
Yep.
This is who you're going to be. You're going to be a blessed guy. And now you've blessed so many others with just joy. Whether, again, you're behind the bar or on the stage or in front of the camera or on a microphone, because you're bringing me joy today, brother.
Oh,
these stories are
awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's been fun. I want to do the book, Save Me a Seat at the Bar, and
I love that.
I want to do a podcast. That'll be the same name.
Absolutely.
Save Me a Seat at the Bar. That
Absolutely.
That was Shirlene, my mom. She was.
Well, we love Shirley.
Yep.
And we love David, and we love Harlan, excuse me, Harlan, that brought you to this world. My soon-to-be wife, my new fiance, she uses the term, "We're so glad that you were born."
Thank you.
And the Blood Time family was so glad that David, Dennis,
Yes. Hey,
Mackey, Double D was born.
I listened to Michael Goldberg and you.
Yes.
That was an inspiration right there.
Yes.
To come here and do this today.
Yes. Well, David, Michael's, I interviewed him the second time. He's my only second time interview. And the second interview is even more poignant.
Yeah.
About,
I remember him.
Yeah. He and his wife, Sherry, incredible human beings, and what they've done for the world of autism is unbelievable. Mm-hmm. But I am so glad that we did this. I'm so glad that you reached out, and I can't wait to see the next chapter of Double D's life. So thank you.
I'm excited.
Yes.
I am, Peter. Yes. Thank you very much for having me today. Mav, thank you for producing. Good job.
Absolutely. And we're gonna promote the heck out of this episode, my friends.
Good,
so
good. I'm gonna
Facebook
it as my transition occurs with my Facebook.
Absolutely.
I did a little video last night, and we're gonna post that along with this, and we'll have some fun.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for coming, bro.
Okay.
All right. This is Coach Cimarroni with Double D. Blood Time. We are all blood. Love to all.
Love you. Peace.
Hey, I want to welcome our newest sponsor, Antonio Nicholson from Nicholson Law. This former state place winner from Solon High School and captain of the Cleveland State University team is a attorney that handles criminal cases, everything from minor misdemeanors to felonies of the first degree. He also does custody, civil, and personal injury cases, and he's been doing this for 6 years. He's a former public defender, and his motto is always and forever protector of the people. He wants to offer a 10% discount to all athletes, former and present, if they retain his services. Nicholson Law at 216-774-4774. That's 216-774-4774. Antonio Nicholson, Nicholson Law. I want to share my thought of the day with you. Spread love and always leave where you were better than before you arrive.
Yeah, this is Matt Lindland. You've just heard another episode of the Blood Time Podcast.